Stop daydreaming, Speedwell Bunting. Once upon a time and far away there was a tooth fairy who loved to daydream. His name was Speedwell Bunting, but his friends called him Bunty for short. Now, Bunty never did a bit of work, not if he could dodge it. He lay about in the sun eating fresh fruit and honey cakes, daydreaming about being a great hero who saved his friends from danger in the nick of time. Above all, he dreamed of going on a tooth hunt and bringing back a wonderful tooth. That was his favorite daydream, for tooth hunting is the most dangerous thing a tooth fairy can do. There are storms of wind and snow. There are birds with snipper-snapper beaks and spiders with clinging webs and dazzling lights in the night sky. Worst of all is the fear of being seen by a human, for if a child sees a tooth fairy, then that fairy disappears forever. No. Tooth hunting was so dangerous that Bunty never did it. He only daydreamed. One morning, while Bunty was riding his pet frog, an amazing thing happened. He found a tooth. It was just lying there at the bottom of a dried-up pond. Someone must have dropped it on the way back from a tooth hunt, thought Bunty. Now the tooth fairies use teeth for many things, because teeth are so tough. A good tooth is worth its weight in gold, and this one was as perfect a tooth as could be. Bunty was so pleased that he couldn't wait to show it to his friend Sky. "You should try to find out who owns it, Bunty," said Sky. "Who owns it? I own it. It's mine now. I'm off to the market where I'm going to sell it for gold." Sure enough, Bunty set off for the market to sell the wonderful tooth. On the way, he stopped on the bridge over the river and began to daydream as usual. How much will I get?" he wondered. A whole pocket full of gold? Enough to buy 10 hives of honeybees? And if 10 hives of honeybees make 10 pots of honey each, that makes 100 pots to sell. I'll have the money to buy the things I've always wanted, like a new waistcoat. I could easily end up the best dressed tooth fairy in the country. I might even marry the fairy princess, and if I do that, what's to stop me from becoming king one day? Oh, what a thought! To be king of the tooth fairies. That was even better than lying in the sun eating fresh fruit and honey cakes. Bunty spun right round with joy and knocked the tooth off the bridge. Down it went, down, down, down. He watched it fall into the river far below. What a sight that was, to see the lovely tooth disappear forever. Bunty felt like crying, although he didn't. "Just forget about it, Bunty," Sky said when she heard the sad story. "I can't forget," groaned the miserable Bunty. "Well, it wasn't really yours in the first place," said Sky. "Get yourself another one." "How?" "You could go on a tooth hunt." "Are you mad?" cried Bunty. "I'm not mad. Stop daydreaming, Speedwell Bunting, and go and get a tooth of your own." For the next few days, Bunty tried to pretend that he hadn't lost a tooth in the river, that he'd zoomed down and caught it in the nick of time. That didn't work though. Daydreaming wasn't any good now. He'd held the real thing in his own two hands. Then he began to think. Others go to tooth hunting, so why not me? I can probably be as brave as anyone else if I try. And besides, Sky thinks I can do it. I will go on a tooth hunt. I'll go tomorrow. And he did. Off he flew with a coin strapped to his back, for as everyone knows, teeth are not free. The tooth fairies have to pay for them. He flew through the storms of wind and snow. He dodged the birds with the snipper-snapper beaks. He fought off the spiders with their clinging webs. He flew into the dazzling lights of the far city. Taking care not to be seen by a human, he squeezed through a leather box and flew up the stairs to where a lovely tooth, a top front tooth, had been left under a pillow. In a hurry now, Bunty set down his coin. It would be discovered when the morning came. Then he picked up the tooth and sped away as softly as a whisper with wings. In this way, and at last, Speedwell Bunting came home with as fine a tooth as you could wish to see. Many of his friends were there to meet him and say how brave he was, including Sky. "Well done, Bunty," she said to him. Nowadays, Bunty keeps hives of honeybees, and he has a fancy waistcoat for every day of the week. He's much too busy to lie about in the sunshine, and he doesn't dream about marrying a princess because Sky is his wife now. But when the work is done and all is quiet, he still likes to close his eyes and imagine many things that might or might not be.